And you're welcome back. Let's get started with our big story, big report for today, I beg your pardon, as we turn our focus on a recent development in the National Assembly that has drawn significant public attention and debate. It's a disagreement over sitting arrangements in the Senate that led to a confrontation involving Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan from Kogi State. This arose after a decision by the Senate leadership to reassign her seat within the chambers, which Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan openly opposed. The matter escalated during plenary, with the Senate Chief Whip Tahir Monguno invoking a point of order under the Senate rulebook in response to our objection. Our national correspondent Tahir Ibrahim filed this report over the week. Let's take a look.
The seating rearrangement was necessitated following the defection of lawmakers Ned Woko and Francis Ezenwa to the All Progressives Congress, prompting a new allocation of seats by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio. Under the new arrangement, Natasha Akpoti of Kogi Central was assigned to a new seat, which she declined, insisting on remaining in her previous position, leading to a mild drama during plenary.
Pursuant to the provisions of our rules and in the exercise of the powers conferred on the Senate President to resume her new seat. If not, the Senate President may decide to exercise the powers conferred on him not to allow her to contribute to any debate.
Recognized to speak from there. That is the order of the Senate.
Sir, Order 10 on privileges. Order 10 on privileges.
Distinguished Senator Natasha.
Any senator may rise at any time
to
speak upon a matter of privilege suddenly arising, and he shall be prepared to move without notice. A motion declaring that the content of breach of privilege has been...
Show me the session that allows suspension immediately.
In response, the Kogi caucus in the National Assembly urged the President of the Senate to prevent further escalation, while also demanding that Akpoti apologizes to the Senate.
What you have done, you have the power to do it. You did it at the best interest of the Senate. I don't know why. I will want her to at least come out and apologize to us because of our behavior this morning.
This will not repeat itself again. Under any other scenario, it will not repeat itself again. We're going to cancel her, we're going to talk to her.
In the end, Akpabio called for calm, urging the matter be resolved amicably in the interest of national unity and legislative focus. In Abuja for News Central, I'm Tahir Ibrahim.
Thank you to Tahir Ibrahim for that report. Now, following this incident, there have been reports suggesting a potential suspension of the senator, which she has publicly addressed. Additionally, comments from the Senate spokesperson emphasized that the National Assembly is not a platform for what it termed as content creation. To provide more insight into this issue, we are being joined right now in the studio by Fateema Mohammed-Bashir, the convener of the Women for Good Governance Initiative. Thank you very much, Fateema, for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Good morning.
Thank you for coming on.
I'm going to start with a very, very succinct and quick question. Was Senator Natasha Akpoti in order or not?
She was in order.
Please expatiate.
Thank you very much. You see, there's something that I say all the time. I say the internet never forgets. And somehow, what goes wrong has a way of coming wrong. The moment we saw that, there was another video, maybe some 30, 40 minutes after this particular incident. And then they showed the exact thing that happened between the Senate President and Honorable Natasha, happened between the Senate President, well, he was just a senator then, and the Senate President Bukola Saraki.
What were these matters?
They were talking, it was just a sitting arrangement basically. And she has come out over the phone to give her reasons. I would go into her reasons later. But at that time, the Senate President, Bukola Saraki, said, another seat has been assigned to you, Senator Akpoti. Please take that seat. He stood up. The video is there, and he said, I cannot take that seat. This is where I want to sit. You know, he asserted himself, and then it was quite chaotic. But the Senate President, Bukola Saraki, did not tell the clerk or the sergeant at arms, throw him out. So, he was calm. He just, you know, took his time to calm the house, and then he explained that you cannot sit where the microphone isn't working, because if you put up your hand to talk, I can't even hear you. So, based on this, please take the seat that has been assigned to you, the new one, and then you can talk from there. So, and then Honorable Natasha is not somebody who is confrontational. That's not who she is. She's not a confrontational person. She's not quick to anger. She's somebody who can tolerate you for a long time. This outburst is evident that she's had it up to here. And I speak authoritatively because she's like a younger sister to me. I know her closely. She would never, that's not who she is. She doesn't flare up easily. If you look at her, you know that she's a calm person, but she's very assertive. She knows her rights. She fights for her rights and the rights of other people. And unfortunately, Natasha is somebody whose silence is louder than a whisper. So Natasha speaks so loud when it comes to asserting herself and proving a point. And that was exactly what she was trying to do. It was point of order. That she was trying to read out that no. And you saw that she further went to say that she got to this level because she had been ostracized in the House. They had taken out her name from a lot of committees that she was on, a lot of foreign trips that she was meant to go to help better the life of her people. She was removed from it. The ones that she had gone has been self-sponsored. And she's doing all of this because of her people.
So you think all of these...
all of this culminated into her outburst.
Yes. Yeah, but I mean all of these matters where you talk about the seating arrangement or the lack of travel or opportunities and all of that have been orchestrated by the Senate President? Is that
it has been orchestrated, yes, that's what I'm saying. And then she said something else again on live telephone. She said that where they have put her new seat, that there's no how she's going to talk from there or raise up her hand that they will pick her. You would see that before she started talking, her hands were raised. And he wasn't even looking at her direction. She said, you cannot put me somewhere hidden. You put me somewhere that is very conspicuous and obvious, and I'm putting up my hand and you're not calling me. So when you box me into a corner, you would just give that as an excuse that, well, because of where you're seated, that's why I didn't call you.
Are these complaints just hers, or have they also been expressed by other female members of the Senate? Or is it just targeted
at her? How many females do we have in the Senate? So sad. I'm smiling to say it, but my heart is bleeding, and that's the truth. My heart is bleeding because I don't really understand why it is so difficult. The 35% affirmative action is so difficult. And during political era, we do the bulk of the job. We're the ones who compose all the songs that they sing for these politicians.
Yeah, the ones who canvassing.
We practically do everything. And then we're nowhere. Take the census, the population, there are more women. So in the voting, if the women decide today that we're not going to vote, they will not get the percentage that will make them anything in this country. But sadly, we're pressured from here, pressured from there. They want to shut us up. They don't want us to talk. And then any woman who tries to raise her voice to speak, they say, oh, you're rude. Oh, don't you have... I even saw one very stupid person on the comment section and said, doesn't she have a husband at all? Natasha is married, happily married. She adores her husband.
She has a kid.
She practically adores her husband. She's a responsible married woman.
I have to ask you, referring to the interview, it's now gone viral. It was a telephone interview on a radio station that has now gone viral, and she alluded to something. She said that they are moving. She cannot speak on the matter. She made it very clear that she cannot speak on the matter. She narrated outside of the story and said that the seating arrangement and what had happened. Before then, she was not always, every single time she raised her hands to try to move motions, she barely gets noticed. And now, moving her to the very end of the hall would make it extra hard, given that the sitting arrangement is amphitheater styled. But she also talked about the suspension, a possible suspension. And then we also noticed that in that report, the Kogi State, the caucus and other members had said that the behavior was unruly and uncalled for, and she needed to apologize to the House. Is a suspension justified? And do the comments of the members of the House justified?
The suspension is not justified. He wasn't suspended while he was a member, and he did the same thing. The Senate President, Bukola Saraki, never suspended him. He just came calm as a father, and he explained himself and put his foot on the ground. I didn't expect anything better from her colleagues from Kogi State. First and foremost, they are not from the same political party. Secondly, Natasha is not a voice, she's not just a face in Kogi. She is a moving train. She's a force to reckon with. I dare them, the men who have come out and say she apologized, she's rude. What have they done? What have they done in their senatorial district? What have they done? Put it pari passu on his scale, and so I'm not surprised that they will come out and say that. And you know, at times like this, people want to have very robust committees, they want to cheer it, so they won't say the truth. But, I mean, why suspend Natasha for what? You see, the thing is that I think it's just in Nigeria that we keep forgetting the fact that Natasha's mandate went through a lot.
Yes, and
if you look at everything that Natasha has been through politically, it is unfair for anybody to try and silence her, or for anybody not to be nice to her. She's lost practically everything.
But they might argue that it's not their job to be nice, that they are just here as everybody else.
They are just here, yes, I agree with you, but there's no how you look at it. We're humans. This humanity part of us must come to play. This is somebody who won her elections, they stole her mandate, she went to court, and I mean, came back, and in a short while she's done so much. Maybe the question is, who is afraid of Natasha? Who is afraid of Natasha being quite heroic in the Senate? Who is afraid of her speaking louder than a whisper?
The Senate spokesperson made comments regarding the incident, stating that the National Assembly is not for content creation.
It's amazing that people from his constituency should actually cover their faces in shame. They should. If it was for my constituency or my senatorial district, I would be covering myself in shame. The truth is, a distinguished senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria looks at a situation where somebody is trying to express herself, where somebody is saying, you cannot shut me up. I would speak because I've got the mandate of my people from Kogi Central to come and represent them in this house. And there are things that I must do for them. Natasha is not there in her power. She's representing the people. So when you shut Natasha up, you're shutting up the entire Kogi Central. And then somebody calls that content creation. So was it content creation when Akpabio told her to sit down, that was not a nightclub? Was that content creation? You should tell us. Was that content creation?
I'd like to remind us of one instance here. Maybe when I say these words, it will make you remember. Senator, off your mic. There was that issue between him and Saraki where he was asked to switch off his mic.
Yes.
And that resulted in, back and forth.
Yes.
No suspension or anything at the time.
No. Was that content creation as well?
Was that content creation, you ask? However, looking at the structure of the Senate and how it's built, I would imagine that the architecture of the amphitheater, you use the right word, the amphitheater nature of it is designed in such a way that sound is carried and visual, you're visually visible to one specific spot, which is where the Senate President sits. So my question is, for everybody who is sitting next to her, do they have the same complaints as well regarding the invisibility of the nature of that position, or not being heard when they perhaps maybe raise their hands or indicate that they would like to speak in the Senate?
That might just be a very difficult thing to respond to, because first and foremost, we haven't heard from the people there. And you know that in the Senate, not everybody speaks in the Senate.
Very
Not
true.
everybody
I should
speaks in
call
the
out my
Senate.
uncle at this
There are a lot of
point.
people who go to the Senate and
I
just
okay.
support him, does not say him.
I'm looking at you, uncle. I'm looking at you. You don't do anything.
A lot of them don't talk in the Senate. No. Bring them out and say what bills have they sponsored.
Absolutely nothing.
109 people in the Senate. I don't think we have more than 20 people who talk all the time. But they might just not know that their mic is even off. So it's a difficult question to answer.
Yeah, well, I'm calling out my uncle. I'm replying, Matthew. I'm calling out my uncle. He was in the Senate, I think, for about 8 years, and he never, ever did anything. And when he went back to his constituency to ask for the ticket, he literally went on his knees and begged them. Yeah, I might not be invited for the family reunion, but I don't care.
Do you think this will affect further, perhaps maybe considerations for women inside of the Senate, noting that this has brought out the discrepancies or the flaws of the Senate, the lack of women representation, one, and also the positioning or what
condescension.
Respect.
Because that's the word. The thing is, they keep forgetting that, like we have said, the internet never forgets. And when you keep pushing people, when you keep oppressing people, when you keep relegating people to the back, and ensuring that you're stamping your authority in ways that you should not exert it, they would get to a point where they would turn back and they would face you en masse. I don't care what they decide to do to women in the Senate, but I'm telling them one thing of a certainty. The time is coming when the women will revolt. I see a revolution because a lot of people are getting tired already. You saw what just happened with the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Lagos State. So a lot of people are getting tired already.
Are they really? Because there's a quote here. In the corridors of power, the glass ceiling isn't just intact, it's bulletproof. And so being as tight-clawed as this glass ceiling is in the corridors of power, and seeing the level of hoops and obstruction and just to think about it of what women have to go through, because it's not just getting there, all the hoops and everything. They have to work twice as hard to get that appointment, whether it's by election or by appointment.
Not in the ruling party, in PDP, probably in Labour or something.
Yeah. Wait.
In ruling party, that's not how it is.
Yeah, but we're seeing the situation with Speaker Mojisola Miranda. Is she not the ruling party? Is she not in Lagos State? That's supposed to be a progressive state.
I honestly don't want to speak about her because my heart is broken. I'm not happy, and I don't know.
So do you still have the sentiment that it's not just APC, that is other parties and it's not APC?
No, why I said that, I'm a member of the APC. I'm saying that in APC it is easier because it's your party and it's the ruling party. So it is them saying, okay, this is the person who, who the crown fits. So you don't go through a lot of stress. It's not rigorous trying to get anything. But in the PDP, you go through a lot of stress to do primaries. You do the primaries, you even when finish, you start to go to court. You start the stress of wanting to, compete in a terrain where it doesn't seem like you have a chance.
How many women were elected in this current election cycle under the APC?
In the Senate?
Not just Senate, like nationally. When you look at it from the House of Senate, the representative chairmanship.
They went up to 30.
That is low. That is low. So if you're making a case, for APC, isn't that low?
Yeah, I agree with you, but the truth of the matter is, I'm sure it's better than what it used to be.
No, no. So
it's better than what it used to be.
No, it's reduced.
No,
it's reduced.
How many female senators did we have last dispensation?
It's been dwindling over the years, and it's from the last 8 years of APC in presidency, and before that time with Goodluck, and before that time with Yar'Adua, and also with Obasanjo. We had more women, and so as it continued to progress to APC, the number of representation of women have reduced. So why make a case for the APC?
I don't think it's an APC thing. I think contesting an election is not particularly easy. I can tell you that. I have contested 2 times, and I know that I'm still staggering. I'm not balanced yet. Women will contest elections, especially those without godfathers. You get to finance yourself. And financing an election is not a child's play. So I'm sure that there are a lot of inhibitions that have stopped women from coming out. There's no institution who is saying, oh, we believe in you, we're giving you this money, go right there and do. No.
All right.
And then after you have won an election, there's nobody who's even going to fight if your mandate is stolen.
Fateema, we would have to draw the curtain here on this conversation, but I would like to note that you got visibly exhausted and emotionally touched when we spoke, especially about Miranda this morning. I just wanted to point that out, but perhaps maybe we'll talk about that on a different occasion.
She still won't come. Are you going to accept the invitation if we invite you to speak about Mojisola Miranda?
I'll come.
She will come.